Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. Ladies and gentlemen, they are a nation in doldrums hurtling towards balkanization. They just don't know whether they are coming or going. Their military establishment is not just corrupt to the core, but they are also so split. But one thing they continue to obsess about, ever since 90,000 of them were taken as prisoners of war in 1971, and also perhaps a little before that, is India and an integral part of India, an inalienable part of India, as said by the MEA spokesperson today, that is Jammu and Kashmir. This is the only thing that they continue to obsess with. They are a nation that is just 75 years old, but they have a nation who have no history of theirs, they have no vision of theirs, they have just got one obsession to try and covet what does not belong to them. But what is surprising, ladies and gentlemen, is that such is their obsession that majority of their population may be in penury. They may be ravaged with floods. They may have no money in their bullion or in their reserves. They may be a pariah to most of the world. But they will still continue with that agenda and that obsession, and they will direct all resources and help that is coming actually to help the people of Pakistan towards propaganda against Bharat. What we are going to expose today here on this edition of The Right Stand is exclusive information that unmasks this entire toolkit that is now going to be pushed by Pakistan, not just by its intel agencies and their wings and their puppets, but even by the government. Oh, I forgot. Even the government is nothing but a quasi-puppet of their entire military establishment and the ISI. So, let's get into the details of this story. The exclusive here on this edition of The Right Stand, the entire aspect of epicenter of terror. This barb seems to have rattled Pakistan. Pakistan's Malign India plot is now out, and CNN News18's expose is this evening on how Pakistan has launched a global campaign to malign India, this propaganda on social media, and right from the Prime Minister of Pakistan downward, everybody has been given just one single-minded objective. Even their embassies across the world, about 50 odd of them, have been asked to just start spreading fakery, lies, canards, and also propaganda against Bharat. So let's look at the details of this. What is this entire toolkit? They have launched a global campaign not just to malign India, but somewhere try and create a narrative that India needs to reverse abrogation of 370. Go back to what it was before and then talk about once again self-determination, etc., etc. Now, I don't want to get into the history because that entire UN doctrine itself first asked Pakistan to pull away all its troops from Pak-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. So clause 1 and then only clause 2. Self-determination, DDC polls are happening, elections are happening, everything. So let's not get into that. But this is what their propaganda is. Global propaganda to malign Bharat. That toolkit stands exposed to try and spread hatred and also misinformation spread by the Pak ministry itself. Fakery spread by the Pak ministry and their political parties itself. 25 Pakistani embassies and consulates are also involved. Globally, this is what they are trying to do. Hashtag posts are being shared on official Pakistani handles, and maximum traffic online for this entire campaign is emanating from Pakistan. So this is not something that has not been witnessed in the past, where they try to misinform, misguide, and also try and keep changing addresses, and it's their entire machinery propaganda. But what stands out is this entire toolkit. So let's look at the details of the toolkit. What does this toolkit talk about? Let's look at it. Pakistan's propaganda on the 5th of January 2023. This is what they have identified, 5th of January, because 5th of August 2019, Jammu and Kashmir, Article 370 was abrogated. This is what they are saying, calling it the Kashmir Self-Determination Day. But it is not for Pak-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. What they are trying to do is, again, that narrative is only about what is an integral part of Bharat. So this is the first page. Let's try and look at what else is part of this document. It says, United Nations Security Council passed a historic resolution that the question of accession of the state of Jammu and Kashmir to India or Pakistan will be deterred through democratic method of a free and impartial plebiscite. from this day we are going to observe that. That is what they are writing in this detail. But they forget that on the 5th of Jan 1949, the first thing and the first condition was that Pakistan will move its troops outside, vacate this entire area, which they refused to do. So, and Jammu and Kashmir continues to remain an integral part of India. That is beyond any doubt or question. Now, several anti-India hashtags are propagating on social media to try and portray. Let's move to the next page. And this is the kind of narrative building that is happening on social media. And these are all being done deliberately under the aegis of the Pakistan government, led by the Pakistan Prime Minister himself. So, unke चार सूबे संभलते नहीं, चले हैं हमारा कश्मीर लेने. That's exactly what is happening. They have no narrative of their own and they are just obsessing with this. And look at it. They have, but you have to hand it to them that their obsession is such that they have a full machinery and mechanism set there. Proper. You know, illegal properties of Jamaat-e-Islami, the Pak-backed organization, that is being raised and they are putting out saying that India is seizing the properties of the people of Kashmir. Look at the kind of narratives that they are trying to stitch. Global campaign. And also anti-India tweets by Pakistan to malign India. So all of this is happening, ladies and gentlemen. We've accessed the entire toolkit, what they're supposed to do. 12 out of 15 handles. And these handles mention their bio that they are either a part of social media team of the Pakistan People's Party. So you have political parties, PPP, PMLN, all of these are in government, they are all involved. So political parties, the government, the military establishment and their machinery is all busy doing this. Not minding their business and their nation, but trying to covet something that doesn't belong to them. So we've exposed this toolkit, ladies and gentlemen. Tejinder Sodhi getting us these details. Tejinder, so clearly a propaganda toolkit to try and malign Bharat. But more importantly, look at their obsession. They have no worry about their country. A country that they've tried to set up when they partitioned Bharat. They did it on the lines of religion. For 75 years, they have no narrative of their own. And all they are doing is coveting that doesn't belong to them. But still, they have no money. They are bankrupt. Their people are poor. All of this put on one side and their obsession with Jammu and Kashmir and their propaganda machinery on the other.
Anand, you summed up the entire history of 70 years history of Pakistan in just one word, that this Na-Pakistan's obsession about Kashmir is never going to die until and unless Pakistan itself ceases to exist on the global map. You see, Pakistan is obsessed about Kashmir from the day one. Kashmir, the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir, became a part of Union of India when Maharaja Hari Singh, the erstwhile ruler of the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, signed the instrument of accession with the Union of India. So since then, people in Jammu and Kashmir have been living happily. But this is the neighboring country called Pakistan, which wants disturbance here. We saw Pakistan sending its army in the shape of tribals in 1947. We saw we had several wars with Pakistan, but every time Pakistan was defeated by the brave Indian army. Now you see Pakistan, which itself is a failed state, which is going from one country to another with a begging ball. Their top leadership, be it either they go to China or Saudi Arabia with a begging ball because they are at the verge of bankruptcy. But on the other hand, they are not leaving their obsession about Kashmir Valley. Now this toolkit, Pakistan once again stands exposed because Pakistan wants to create a false narrative about Kashmir, that people in Kashmir are not happy about when the Article 370 was abrogated. But in reality, one thing funny about this entire campaign which has been launched by Pakistan, that not a single tweet has come from the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. All these tweets, as you rightly pointed out, that the entire traffic is from Pakistan. So global community needs to see that the people in Jammu and Kashmir, they are living happily under the Union of India.
No, it's
They are peaceful. There is no a problem with the people of India. But Pakistan, why is Pakistan so obsessed that it has put its entire machinery, be it the Pakistan
because
Army,
they have
be
nothing
it,
else
the
to
Ministry
obsess
of
about.
Foreign Affairs of Pakistan.
Tejinder, it's a simple fact that
yes,
they have nothing home to write about. They have nothing to talk about. Their government itself is a cobbled up opposition which has been propped up there by the military establishment after it booted out another government which was also propped up by the military establishment. It's the military establishment which has got no other propaganda. If the Prime Minister of Pakistan is tweeting what the ISI, DG, ISPR is putting out and telling them to do, then you can understand what individuality they have. They have no story about their own country to talk about. And what stands out is in this toolkit that a lot of these are members of PPP. That is Bilawal Bhutto's party.
Indeed, Anand, you see, not only the PPP but other political parties of Pakistan are also tweeting the same. They are doing this on the behest of Pakistan Army. Even as you rightly pointed out, that around 50 Pakistan embassies and consulates across the globe, they are also retweeting all those hashtags which are being put out by those influencers, those social media influencers. But we are also told that these people, they have been given some money so as to put out these tweets with anti-India hashtags. But the world knows the reality, because
right.
now is a day when you can easily find out the IP address of those Twitter handles, and most of those Twitter handles are being operated from Pakistan. Not a single tweet. I was talking to some of my sources within the within the cyber security establishment. They are saying that they have not seen a single such tweet from the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, but the entire tweets are being put out either from Pakistan or from Turkey or those countries where you have so many Pakistanis living. Yes.
Right.
Anand.
Right, Tejinder, thank you for getting us this entire toolkit and putting it out, and this entire propaganda stands exposed. There is more. There is also the fact that Pakistan finds itself increasingly isolated. We'll talk about that in just a bit. Let's quickly go across to our guest. This is a major expose here at CNN News 18. A pauper park spending to Malign Bharat. This is what they do. They've got nothing else but propaganda left and their obsession with what does not belong to them. But let's go across to our guests and take this apart and look at it from there. Tuin Sinha of the BJP is with us. SP White Saab is there. Former DGP Jammu and Kashmir. Lalit Ambardar, Kashmiri activist, is there, and Lieutenant General KJ Singh, former GOC in Chief, Western Command. Namaste and Jai Hind to everybody. Thank you very, very much. The point is that this is a cycle, and we know Pakistan's obsession, Lalit Ambardar. But what are we doing as a country to kill this propaganda, nip it all in the bud, and to send them back scurrying so that they never dare again?
Very rightly put. Anand, you have to know Pakistan is no ordinary or a normal country. It's an artificial geopolitical form which was created. How was it created? When millions of Indian-born millions, they betrayed their motherland on 14th of August 1947 in the name of Islam, in the name of Jinnah's two-nation theory, in the name of supremacy and exclusivity, and created Pakistan for themselves over the dead bodies of Hindus and Sikhs. And what has been our narrative till then? Their narrative since has been ladke liya hai Pakistan, has ke lenge Hindustan. And on our part, we have been always going ahead, 2 steps ahead, trying to embrace them with a narrative like neighbor hai, badal nahi sakte. So that's the biggest ever compromise when you do in front of an adversary, when you first say that you are my neighbor, I have no option but to succumb. And Pakistan will continue to bleed us. It is their national policy. Is their national policy, because Islam is the only reason they can keep Pakistan consolidated. With imploding Balochistan, the only way they can keep Pakistan in control is Kashmir, is India, demonizing India, demonizing Hindus, defaming Hindus. But what is our response? We are trying to the whole world, Kashmir jihad is over. My governor is saying, oh, who is killing whom? They are not killing Hindus there. Look, the audacity of the brazen of the Kashmir jihad has become a hybrid war. We need to understand that. And instead of understanding what we have on hand in Kashmir, it's a military form, it's a jihad in hybrid war like everywhere else in the world. We are trying to give them a safe passage. My DGP of Kashmir is saying they're not killing Hindus just because they are Hindus. They are trying to defame. They are trying to defame the Muslims of Kashmir. And now see, they have entered into Rajouri. Yesterday, you saw the brazenness how they targeted Hindus in Rajouri. And my system, my governance is so insensitive towards the Kashmiri Hindus. They have been protesting for the first 6 months, and we are trying them. No, you will have to go and serve in the very places where you'll be killed in your offices, wherever you're working in our schools, but we'll stop your salary. And you know what? FATF was the only sword we had against Pakistan. I think Pakistan has got a green chit on because of us. We did not pursue the case. While as we keep on telling, we had a UN Security Council meeting in Mumbai on 26th of November. We showed it on through videography, showed the pictures, showed the graphs to the whole world, how Pakistan is mobilizing attacks on India, how Pakistan is infiltrating in Kashmir. And by the way, I want to tell you, Lashkar-e-Taiba and Hizbul Mujahideen and other terrorists, they are in thousands waiting in POK to be launched against India. They are preparing ground in Afghanistan. They are training grounds shift to Afghanistan. And we are trying to, no, Kashmir is fine. Everything is fine. I think the local governors, which is the local BJP and local Karyakarta, they are doing everything that goes against the spirit of 5th of August 2019.
So you've been very strong in your, Lalitji, you've been very strong in your condemnation of what's happening in Jammu and Kashmir on ground. Somewhere there is also this aspect of trying to soft pedal and soft talk. And trying to play the soften thing, because we tend to succumb to pressure, but they're saying wo to sudrengi nahi, but do we have to be like that? But Tuhin Sinha, somewhere enough is something which happens. How dare they? They should not have the courage. See, but point is, Pakistan as a puny nation, which is just a small fragment of in terms of size, economy, everything, in terms of all aspects, it's nothing. But it has got the gumption to try and pit itself vis-a-vis India. And that's why India is not able to rise in stature, and India gets caught in this and is not able to rise in stature and pit itself against China, because we also have 1/5 of the world's population. We are also growing. We are the fastest growing economy in the world. We have a story there, but we get stuck because we do not know how to sort this pest out.
Namaste, Anand. Anand, I would slightly disagree with you. Pakistan is an absolute, disgrace to the civilized world, which I have been saying, and which reports like the ones you have put out today only corroborate. So nobody on earth today takes Pakistan seriously, and one of the reasons why Pakistan is increasingly frustrated and is behaving like a psycho is because of two reasons. One, the disparity between the two countries, India and Pakistan, has grown manifold in the last few years, while we are well on course to achieving a $5 trillion economy with massive unprecedented investments in defense and green energy. Pakistan is on the brink of an economic disaster, unprecedented economic disaster. While they had become a colony of China way back, 10 years back, what is happening now is unprecedented. They just had to auction one of their embassy properties in the US. If they still go ahead with an anti-India agenda, I think only God can save a country like Pakistan from breaking into multiple parts, which is what its ultimate destiny is. The second reason why Pakistan is frustrated is that, unlike some of the previous governments, we have not fallen into the bait of, bailing them out with fake friendship treaties and by, with an alacrity to start negotiations once again. From early 2016 onwards, after we were betrayed with the Pathankot attack, we have maintained an arm's length distance and we have consistently ignored Pakistan. This is one of the reasons for their frustration. As far as their propaganda is concerned, nobody, like I said, nobody takes them seriously. But yes, the sad part is that when you talk about, the clause in the UN, when you talk about that clause, it is people like Kamal Hassan, it is people like Mehbooba Mufti who spread canards about India not respecting the UN treaty. So I think, as far as our government is concerned, we are equipped. I understand the pain of my Kashmiri friends. What has happened 3 days ago is extremely sad, and we are tightening up. In fact,
No, but that is again, Tween, I'll tell you what. See, this is where somewhere it irks me as a country which is not just the fastest growing economy in the world, a country which is might. We've got the third largest army, if not the second. We are a nation which are robust and which we can hit back. But the point is, SP Vaid Saab, this hurts me that a country like or an entity like America or a country like China can go halfway across the world and try and attack those people who are a threat to their sovereignty. Russia can go to war with a neighboring Ukraine and do it for 11 months and get away with it because there is a threat of NATO's threat to its sovereignty as it claims. But we cannot go and exterminate a few cockroaches right on our doorstep on what is sovereign integral territory. And we are dithering from it.
Anand, I completely agree with you. In fact, not only America and China can do this, their own Home Minister Sanaullah, I heard him yesterday saying when Afghanistan said that if you dare attack Afghanistan, we will retaliate. They have a problem with TTPs hitting them below their belt, and they are mercilessly getting
सर
killed.
वहां तो तालिबान का डेप्यूटी प्राइम मिनिस्टर के ऑफिस में से एक ऑफिशियल ने तो ये कहा कि अफगानिस्तान से उलझोगे तो 71 रिपीट हो जाएगा. So the Afghans are using 71 and embarrassing and putting Pakistan on the mat. We are not doing it.
That must have been most humiliating to Pakistan Army. That is the last thing they would have really appreciated. And Mr. Sanaullah said, we have, as per international laws and rules, we have right to hit if somebody threatens our security. Now, if their Home Minister Sanaullah is saying this, I think this applies to India also. If you are perpetuating cross-border terrorism in India and all for so many years, so many deaths have taken place in India. India reserves its right to hit back, and I can't help but laugh at their obsession with Kashmir and with India. In fact, their own people are questioning the establishment in Pakistan that Kashmir बहुत हो गया, आपने हमें ruin कर दिया. Today, look at the complete Pakistan has been radicalized. Look at, in spite of that, people are questioning their own establishment. And look at what is happening in Balochistan, what is happening in KPK. It is at the kagar of getting disintegrated. But as you said, this toolkit, now coming to this point, see, we all know their establishment controls everything, including the Prime Minister, they decide who will become the Prime Minister, which political party will come to power, and Imran Khan will go aside. Now, all these are decided by this deep state, the establishment, and they decide the foreign policy, they decide the policy on Kashmir and India, and this is what all political parties are following. Now, they have been for last 30 years selling falsehood as truth, and we were not able to do. But now that today India is changing, and I think the world doesn't trust them anymore, and I think our embassies can do much better work.
No, they are doing a sizable amount of work, but this is where WhatsApp, and I'm going to bring in General KJ Singh. Look at the amount of energy we have to expend to quell a particular narrative that the enemy sets. So rather than trying to expend energies and waste time trying to counter their narratives, why can't we sort them out in such a way that वो फिर कभी कोई narrative का कीबोर्ड तक हाथ लगाने की हिम्मत नहीं करेंगे हमारे. कर सकते हैं हम, पर नहीं कर रहे हैं. क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं?
See, Anand, it's like this. This social media war is a very complex war. You're reminded of what Vajpayee Saab said once, that if you don't like a poem, you have to write a better poem. So we have to put in place we have a great social media strategy. I know this. We are working on that. But we need to ramp it up. And we need to take it from Jammu and Kashmir, so that the message goes clear that the state is voicing these narratives. The stories are coming out from there. We are doing, but we need to do much more. And it's a constant fight. See, Anand, we have certain measures, we can put them out. We have cyber warriors, we have cyber warfare techniques. We can't speak about them, we should not speak about them. But we need to fight this, because in Pakistan, there is a competition brewing. Army wants to find relevance, political parties want to find relevance. They have their own fault lines which are exploding. So then the best thing is to turn the attention outwards. Get the nation to rally around a foolish cause. Foolish, but it can rally them round. So they will continue to prosecute this. It's a long-term problem which we have to deal with. Not that we are dealing with it very badly. We are dealing with it quite effectively. I know of what is being done, and I can vouch for that. But all the same, it's a constant fight, and we have to get more hands on the deck from Jammu.
Sir, I'm just saying that we are far bigger than Pakistan. Pakistan needs to compare itself to a failed state in in the Congo Basin or somewhere like that. Those are the failed states that Pakistan should actually look at it as some of these African nations which are being run by dictators. That is the kind of state that Pakistan has to compare itself. It should not be taken in that name should not be taken in the same breath as Bharat. It should not be. And no matter what, the sorting out has to be in such a way they dare not. सर जो चूड़ियां पहन के इनको भेजा था ना पहनाकर 71 में, वो चूड़ियां वही रहनी चाहिए, वैसे ही रहने चाहिए. We have to keep reminding them that, and if that means every quarter there has to be a quarterly reminder to them and they need a whipping, we should give them a whipping. Because every time they try and reassemble, we should do one pest control. जैसा हमारे घरों में हम pest control हर क्वार्टर में कराते हैं ना सर, तो हमारा देश भी हमारा घर है, उसके आसपास का पेस्ट कंट्रोल भी हर क्वार्टर में करना पड़ेगा. जब तक वहां पर ये नहीं होता देश से हम कश्मीर लेकर आएगा, पीपल आर लार्ड से हु वेयर पाकिस्तान, व्हाट पाकिस्तान, that day will also come. But till then, we need to be hard. We need to tell the world, listen, if you can protect your territory and your sovereignty, so can I. Why are we shirking from that? Lalit Ambardar wanted to say something. Lalit, yes.
Can I? Yeah, I just wanted to tell you, look, earlier Pakistan had only Kashmir centers in Belgium, London and America, a couple of them in America. After 5th of August 2019, every Pakistani embassy or high commission across the world has a Kashmir center. And do we have anything in response? Do we have any narrative that we can fight upon? Do we know that Kashmir is on the agenda of Pakistan? Ye mat sochiye that Pakistan is imploding, Pakistan is starving. Let me tell you, China and America will never ever allow Pakistan to sink because of its geostrategic importance. And till then they will keep on bleeding us. We are not having any narrative. We don't even say when did we last time talk about the genocide of Hindus and Sikhs in Pakistan? Never ever. We had CAA. When did we notify that? We haven't yet. And we don't even acknowledge what Kashmiri Hindus suffered because of Pakistan-sponsored, pan-Islamism-inspired, jihad-infested Kashmir jihad. They suffered genocide.
We have not even opened.
Local government is telling, no, it's not genocide.
Lalit Ambardar,
Yasin Malik is still living.
See, Lalit Ambardar is making a point to Insina. We are not going to town. We are not going to the world with a Hindu girl being skinned alive in Pakistan. A Hindu girl is skinned alive in Pakistan, and did we make a song and dance about it in the US of A? Did we put it out on the Times Square saying breaking news? This is what Pakistan. This is how Pakistan treats its minorities. When Raja Ranjit Singh was insulted, his statue was insulted. When the Gurdwara Sahib, the domes were broken, did we go to town and plaster it all over the world saying this is how Pakistan treats its minority? We're not even doing that with the Pashtuns, with the Baloch, to Insina. So where are we controlling the narrative?
Yes. Pashtuns and Baloches are begging
Anand,
for
we
our
have
support.
been raising
We don't do
been
that.
raising these.
Okay. Yes, Twin.
Anand, we have been raising these issues consistently on the international fora. As the External Affairs Minister had recently said, the two things which define the two nations are IT. For us, it is information technology. For them, it is international terrorism. Yes, I mean, I agree with you that the ecosystem, our ecosystem across the world needs to be stronger to consistently raise these issues on the streets. But honestly, I think there are two approaches that you can live with. One is a positive approach where we have consumed ourselves with creating a certain, powerhouse out of India, which was unprecedented, so that the disparity between the nation is so grave that tomorrow Pakistan, despite whatever it tries, try to understand the situation. आज से 12-15 साल पहले क्या होता था? 2006 से 2008 के बीच हर महीने जो है एक बड़ा ब्लास्ट होता था और उस समय ये लोग अपने आर्टिस्ट को पुश करते थे, क्रिकेट मैचेस पुश करते थे. There were people in large numbers who would overstay in India for 6 months. All that has stopped. So we have stopped the proxy measures, most of the proxy measures which they had been indulging in. Now if Pakistan continues to indulge in psychotic behavior, at the end of the day, nobody has the time to entertain them. They are wasting their time.
Correct.
With a begging bowl, they are going across the world. But yes, at the same time, simultaneously, they are abusing India over Kashmir. But this morbid or lecherous obsession of Kashmir is what has failed them. And if they still don't realize it, God save the country from being ripped apart.
No, sir, I'll tell you what.
But having said that, let me...
Ji, please complete.
Yeah.
Please complete. Coming, sir, coming.
One second. There is if you look at a historical perspective, somewhere around the time when they started this proxy war towards the late 70s, after their defeat in 1971, when they realized they could not compete with India in a conventional war, somewhere we do feel, I know nothing can be done about it, but when we were releasing 93,000 troops, somewhere the bargain could have been, bigger. We could have
Sir, there is. See, we will digress, and there is a huge amount of political history because the nations that stood with Pakistan at that time were US and China. The nations that stood with India were Russia, and there was a huge amount of geopolitical pressure exerted. But unfortunately, we were not standing on our feet because our ordnance factories were shut. Our army was not given the kind of punch and power that it should have been.
That is what we had changed.
And there was a pullback. But despite all the adversities, we were 32 kilometers from Lahore. There is no reason why we should have given back all that territory. We should have been right there breathing down those very terror factories and wiping. I'm saying let's not go back into the past. What are we doing now is my question. My simple question is, what are we doing now? Sir, narrative war. Sir, more than 250 temples of heritage. 250 temples of heritage have been destroyed by the Pakistanis in the last 70 years. Have we made a song and dance about culture and history being destroyed? Have we made a song and dance about the people, about the number of Sikhs whose case has been held by the hand and then it